Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip Shannon, let's get to it.
Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Guys, this weekend, how we doing today?
Yep. Just like expected. Cowboys in last place.
Yep. You know, I got a question for you. Was that Aaron Rodgers or Mr. Rodgers yesterday? Because I couldn't tell the difference. I don't know. Did he go ahead and retire in the offseason like he was threatening to? I think he did. I think he just retired. He's now the permanent Jeopardy host because he and his team are in jeopardy.
Cowboys and the Packers have the exact same record.
Yeah. Well, so?
Your team look good and low.
My team's about to take off. Actually, my team has a tie. You realize that? They're 0-0-1 because the league awarded them a tie for their moral victory. They did.
What are those quarterbacks actually?
Yeah, you didn't know that, did you?
We're definitely going to talk about Aaron Rodgers today. I promise you that. I cannot wait for it, but we have to start with a showdown in Kansas City. Heading into Sunday's game against Baker Mayfield and the Browns, the Chiefs had never lost a game in September with Patrick Mahomes under center. Kansas City superstar helped his team rally back from a 12-point deficit as he threw 3 touchdowns in the second half to secure a late fourth-quarter lead. And last week, Skip did have the Browns beating the Chiefs to get to the Super Bowl this year, while Shannon has Kansas City going back to the Super Bowl for the 3rd straight season. So, Shannon, do you feel even better about your pick after this game?
I feel really good about my pick, Skip. The Chiefs were playing without 2 of their top 3 defenders. Honey Badger, Northlake, Frank Clark played in that ball game. Chris Jones was a menace. He did what we thought he would do, and he was unbelievable. But Skip, I don't really know how much better the Browns can play. You have 457 yards of total offense. Baker has basically 7 incompletions, over 300 yards. You run the ball for 6 yards a clip. And the difference in the ball game came down to, can you make plays late in the ball game when you absolutely have to? The game started to slip away, and Baker goes 3 and out, and the interception. Skip, you can't have that. That's the difference. Baker wants to be, I'm not saying he's trying to be Drew Brees, Brady, or Manning, but if he wants to be the best version of himself, those guys made their name. When they needed plays late in the ball games, they found ways more times than not to make those plays. And that's the next step. That's the evolution in Baker Mayfield's ball game. Skip, he was unbelievable yesterday. When you look at his numbers, 21 of 28, 321, a touchdown, but that horrible interception to end the ball game, Skip. You got to throw that ball out of bounds. Or worst case scenario, take the sack. You have a timeout. Use your timeout. You still have, 45, 50 seconds left in the ball game. No harm, no foul. But the one thing you can't do is turn the football over. You know this, when you play the Kansas City Chiefs, Skip, a lot of things are going to have to go in your way, your favor. You're going to need to have to steal a possession. Hopefully they turn the football over. You're going to need to get somewhere into the mid-30s. You're going to have to get to 30. And then hope Mahomes plays bad. He plays like this, and they don't turn it over. You're not beating him. He can, Skip, he just can make plays. That play that he threw to Tyreek. We're not talking about guys that's playing today. There might be only 3 or 4 guys in the history of the game that can be rolling, falling out of bounds, and throw the ball 50 yards. You know he threw that ball 50 yards to Tyreek. There have been very few guys that's ever took a snap in the NFL that can throw the ball like he can and can do the things that he does. And so Cleveland, while you can take some positives from this, Baker, at the end of the day, Skip, you had a 12-point lead, you had a 9-point lead in the 4th quarter, you're on the road and the team is building. To be the team that you want to be, you got to win that game, Skip. You got to find a way to seal the deal. And I don't know what the hell the punter was thinking. Skip, he panicked. He still could have punted the ball. Where do you think you were going? It was 4th and 13. You're not going to race them to the first down marker. Even if the ball only goes 20, 30 yards. The one thing you cannot have happen is that, and I think that's the difference in the ball game. One team remained poised, knowing they had been in these situations before, and they stayed the course. The other team all of a sudden start to see the momentum start to slip, and they panic. The punter drops a punt, Baker throws the interception at the end of the ball game. But I feel good. 23 points. They had 4 possessions in the second half. They got touchdown, field goal. Can you say it with me, Skip? MVP. 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 beat Pete.
Can you repeat after me? Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr., best quarterback in football. MVP. MVP. He's already off to the races. He's going to win it this year.
He got 2 INTs.
Yeah. You told me they were both disqualified. You have no problem with either one of them.
I don't, but they on his resume.
What was that? Hail Mary, am I right?
The Hail Mary skip.
And one hit Fournette right in the hands and popped right over to my man Trevon Diggs, right?
A little high.
Okay, just a little high. All right, now, my turn. What did I see from my Super Bowl pick yesterday? Nothing but great. Loved every bit of it except for 2 mistakes late in the game. I saw a Cleveland Browns team on the verge. I saw a Browns team that needed that as a measuring stick to show them where they fell short. Because to your point, Kansas City made no mistakes, and they ended up making 3, but the first 2 were the most egregious of the mistakes. And you cannot make them at Arrowhead or you're going to lose. And I think that was a great learning lesson for the Cleveland Browns because Baker came out like he meant business. That was the best overall game under fire I have seen him play as a professional. I thought he lived up to being the first pick in the draft. I thought he played or I should say he outplayed that guy in Buffalo yesterday. We're going to talk about him, but Josh Allen had a tough afternoon yesterday, right? At home against the visiting Pittsburgh Steelers. But my point is that, to your point, 21 of 28 for 321 should get it done.
Yes.
When you rush for the kind of yards, they rushed for 153 yards to only 73 for Kansas City. That should get it done. And what did we see in the opening Cleveland drive of the game? They just took it and just stuck it right down Kansas City's throat.
They did.
75 yards, 13 plays, the last 4 by Nick Chubb, and the next, the 2-point conversion by Kareem Hunt. And they just said, we're just going to go for 2, and you can't stop us. We will bulldoze you. And they did, and all of a sudden, it's not 6-0, it's 8-0, right? So I'm saying, okay, here they go. And for most of the game, they were in control.
Right.
But 2 things happened in the second quarter that went completely against everything that I was hoping was about to happen. The first thing that happened was Ronnie Harrison Jr. got tossed from the game.
He lost his mind.
Okay, well, did he lose his mind or did he get the wrong call here? Because here we go, and he's just trying to get free.
Step on the man on purpose.
He's just trying to get loose. He's trying to get loose because he's getting stood up and he's on the Kansas City sideline. He's just trying to get free. He's not trying to step on anybody. And all of a sudden, little Greg Lewis, the assistant. You remember Greg Lewis playing for the Eagles?
I do.
He caught a huge touchdown pass from Donovan McNabb that actually made that Super Bowl fairly close.
24-24.
It did. It put them back in position to win the game. Because he could fly now, little Greg. And he is the running backs coach.
Right.
So he is defending his own, right?
Right.
And he gets a little carried away, and he pushes. Well, that's out of bounds to me. He's literally out of bounds, and then he's double out of bounds because you can't do that. You can't push a player on the field.
You can't, and that's the thing is, Skip, you stay away from stuff like that. But I think when they called it in New York and they saw Ronnie Harrison step on the man, I think that was like...
Okay, so originally they threw only a flag on Greg Lewis.
Correct.
And then they go back and take a second look and they say, well, wait a second. Well, I would have been fine with offsetting penalties.
Right.
But they tossed the starting safety of the Cleveland Browns in the first quarter. You're gone.
Yep.
Seriously? You're going to eject him for that? And he didn't start it, obviously. I don't know why. This is another one of those golden rules that I don't understand. It's always the second man. Well, why should it be? Should that be the unwritten rule? I don't know why, but it was. He was the second. He only retaliated. Right. He didn't strike him with his fist. He just shoved him, and his headset went flying back, and it looked a little more dramatic than it actually was. Right. Why can't you just say, okay, let's throw this flag here and that flag there?
I'd have been cool, but sometimes they do that, Skip, talking about offsetting penalties. No, what precipitated it? What caused Greg Lewis to react the way he did? And I think when New York got it, Skip, and they looked at it, they was like, nah, you tried to pull in Dominican suit. You weren't trying to get off. You tried to step on that man. And the man was just trying to protect his player, and he shoved you to get off him, and then you shoved him back.
I did not see stomp I saw tripped up. I saw I can't get loose from. And then as he's about to get loose, 53 for the Chiefs runs up and bumps him, and he kind of falls back on top of Edwards-Helaire. So I don't know. I just think he's trying to get out of there.
Right.
And remember, he played for Coach Saban at Alabama.
Yes.
So I think he knows the rules. I think he knows what's in bounds and what's out of bounds. And do I love that he shoved back? No, I don't.
No.
Next time, do you just have to just swallow it? Yeah. You just got.
I ain't shoving no coach. I ain't shoving no cup. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna take it out on one of your players.
Okay, but maybe he knew that coach was an ex-player.
Yeah.
Maybe he knew that he had a little bit of player still in him.
I hardly think that Harrison Jr. knows who Greg Lewis is.
I don't know.
LOL, what's that?
He should.
LOL, what's that?
It was the Super Bowl at Jacksonville, New England versus Philly.
Right.
Okay, so that happened, and then on just a pretty routine, non-threatening running play, Jedrick Wills, the left tackle for the Cleveland Browns, who is everything to them. He is their aircraft carrier over on the left. He falls down and somehow twists his ankle and is carted off with an ankle injury, and I don't know what that's going to go. And all of a sudden, Chris Jones said, "Aha! I'm licking my chops."
You see what they did is give Chris Jones his
switched him
tackle.
outside.
Yeah, they said, "Oh, we got the weak link."
And here he came, and he caused Baker nothing but trouble the whole rest of the day. So those are two huge losses because Grant Delpit's got a hamstring pull. He's coming off a terrible Achilles. But the point is, he was gone yesterday. So now you're down to your third string safety, and it put them in harm's way with, obviously, Patrick Mahomes at Arrowhead on opening day.
Right.
So then we get to the third quarter. And the one guy I trust the most in the Browns offense is Nick Chubb. He's high quality, high character. He does not fumble, and he had just ripped off a 17-yard run, and all of a sudden, this happened. He just fumbled. He has another.
And he doesn't have a permanent problem.
That's what I'm saying. He just doesn't fumble, and I don't know. He just got stripped, and here we went. Thornhill stuck his helmet in and got his helmet and just nailed it. Just a dead-on shot and dislodged the football. And it's just shocking because we're in the middle of the third quarter and you're like, what? And it seemed like they were on the roll again because they had not been stopped the whole game.
You're looking at Skip, I'm sure they're thinking, man, we could really deal them a death blow if we go down here and get a touchdown in this situation. Because now, Skip, instead of 12, you're up 19. That's it's for a 3-score game instead of a 2-score game.
It would have been. And it just took my breath away and kicked me right in the stomach. Because if you're going to do that there, that's big trouble. And so that immediately gave them a freeway to the end zone. And then the other thing is, you mentioned the punter. This is, remember, this is, what was the time? 8:47 left in the game. And you realize that's the first time Baker's offense had been stopped and forced to punt the whole day. That's the silver lining to this was they had not been stopped all day at Arrowhead. And now the punter gets in the game, and he's not ready psychologically, and he just muffs the snap. And to your point, just go ahead and try to Australian rules.
Exactly.
Come on, do something.
That's what everybody does in college now anyway.
Just sideways. Just kick it sideways. Just try to get it 10 yards. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. And he just panicked, and that was the end of that deal. And now the floodgates are open, and now Baker is in a precipitous situation. But the reason the momentum swung, and Patrick said it after the game, was the 75-yard pass. It's on the first play of that drive.
You got to make him eat some clock, Skip. You can't get one play in 5 seconds.
And yet, to me, this is vintage Patrick Mahomes. This is everything I love and hate about Patrick Mahomes. Because, to me, this is dangerous.
Oh my God,
and John Johnson is really good, and they paid him a lot of money on the free agent market. And I don't know what he's doing. He's actually covered him. He's beaten him to the spot that he's trying to run to. And he can't find the football. Look, he's looking, and he never saw it. And to me, when the ball left his hands, I said, interception. Because usually for anybody else, that's an interception.
Right.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's wrong, right. But not only is it right, it turns into a touchdown. It wasn't that he just caught it for like a 50-yard gain.
Right.
He just broke, he just cuts the other way and goes all the way back across the field. I don't know what John Johnson's doing. If you just find the football, you can at least knock it down.
But here's the thing, Skip. At that point in time, he sees Tyreek racing across the field. The thing that everybody is fearful of with Tyreek is his speed. I got to beat him to the point.
Well, he did. He had him covered.
Exactly, but the ball's behind him.
Okay.
So he's just racing to a point because he knows if Tyreek, we saw this in New England, Skip. Remember he caught the ball against McCourty, and he just like boom. So they know if he catches that ball at that point, it's over. He just overran the play, Skip.
Okay, I got to tell you, as much as I honor and admire the arm strength to do that, it's pure luck because you're throwing a jump ball. You're throwing a 50-50. It's just one of those plays where you covered it, but you didn't find the football. And if you found the football before Tyreek did, it'd be your ball as much as his ball.
Skip, in a situation like that, do you trust John Johnson or you do trust Tyreek more? And so that's what you're looking at. When you get a receiver,
John Johnson's one of the best.
Yeah.
That's why he got all that money.
But here's the thing, Skip. If I got D-Hop against a safety, I'm going to throw it up because I trust D-Hop more than I trust the safety. I don't care. In a situation like that, I know John Johnson is a very good safety, but I'm going to trust Tyreek in a situation like that. Either he's going to jump up and catch it or it's going to be incomplete.
Remember, it wasn't a third-string safety who was in because Ronnie Harrison got booted.
No, he's the first string. Yeah,
he's the first string, and he is the stud star safety.
Yes.
And to me, Patrick just looks, and because he's got the greenest light in the history of quarterbacks, because Andy Reid just adores him, and Andy Reid traded up to draft him, and Andy Reid loves it when he tries plays like that because that makes Andy Reid feel like I'm a genius.
Right.
Look at me, I did it, because he loves that kind of play. Well, that play can bite you too. It can blow up in your face.
And it's happened. We've seen him against Miami try to make those same plays last year, and he ends up with 3 interceptions. Remember, Skip, he's trying to make a play. He ends up getting a 30-yard sack. So you're going to have to live with some of that. And that's the difference, Skip, when you look at it. This is why you have to tip your hat to a cornerback, because the receiver knows where he's going. He's able to see the ball. As a defender, I'm just basically, okay, I'm shadowing you. Well, I know where I'm going. You guessing where I'm going. One slip, and this is what you get. You get a 70-yard touchdown instead of a knockdown because you lost track of the ball.
Okay, here's my other pet peeve about your man, Patrick Mahomes. First touchdown that Kansas City scored.
Yeah, you saw that? Your guy could never do that. Your guy could never do this.
He rolls out. It's la-di-da, la-di-da.
Look at it back. Do that. Take your time. What you want to do?
I'll deke this guy, and then I'm going to fake it, and then I'm going to do it, and I'm going to run. And here's my problem. It seems like, remember the Tennessee play in the championship game, and we showed it 1,000 times on the show. It's like the Browns decide they don't want to tackle Patrick Mahomes. And I swear, he's held in such high esteem by everybody in the league. They think he is the face of the league. They think he's the magic man. They don't want to hit him. They don't want to tackle him. You got to just come up and hit him like he's a running back.
No, don't do that.
You got to hit this man. You don't let him just lollygag around and then decide to, I'll waltz into the end zone. I'll just waltz.
That pump fake, that was a lair.
Yeah, he got him. But I'm saying, one of these times, somebody's going to say, you know what? I've had enough of that. I'm just going to blast it. Because back in the day, they used to blast Cam Newton. When Cam Newton tried that against the Falcons in Atlanta, they would just annihilate him.
Anytime any quarterback get outside the pocket, you're a running back. You Adrian Peterson.
Somebody hit him? Could somebody just hit him?
They can't get him.
How about grab his flag? Just somebody grab his flag. I would enjoy it if somebody would at least put one hand on him and he waltzed into the end zone. And I'm sitting back saying, I guess it's not tackle. Maybe it's 2 below touchdown.
And you see where he's so casually flipped the football like, I don't, this ain't nothing to me.
Yeah, and then he's doing a little bit of.
Yeah,
easy. Why?
It is because nobody hits you. Maybe they need to pass a new rule. Patrick Mahomes is fair game for everybody to hit. I don't know.
But Skip, look, you know what it's like. Look, Kansas City is one of the toughest places that I've ever played, and I've played in a lot of stadiums. And now that they have a team that they can get behind, they're going to have 80,000 dressed in red. And when they score, Skip, it gets loud. The one thing that you can't have happen is let the momentum. Once they got that touchdown and Baker went 3 and out, Skip, you knew it was over then. The crowd done got into the ball game, and now they're revved up. And they did it, and you mentioned it earlier, Frank Clark. They're like, hold on. What you do with your best defensive lineman, you run him up and down the line. You run him up and down the line, and then you find a weak link. Uh-oh, we got a fish. Now, when you get a fish, Skip, don't let him off. Don't you let that joker get back in that water. You break, make sure you land it. Frank Clark went up and down the line. Oh, they got to do left tackle. Let me try him. He went over to the other side. He got Conklin. So, with that being said, they're going to get Honey Badger back. They're going to get Frank Clark back. They'll be a little better defensively. But offensively, offensive line looked a lot better yesterday than they did in the Super Bowl.
I would agree, because Myles Garrett was pretty quiet yesterday.
He got that one, but when he needed to make a play, man, he fired off the rock like he was shot out of a cannon. Yeah, he got there. He gave Baker an opportunity. That's all you could ask for. Yeah, he was quiet basically all day. But when you needed him to make a play, he made that play. But Skip, in a situation like this, you're on the road. You go, 21 or 27 for 300 yards and a touchdown. You run for 6 yards a carry. You got to win this one.
I agree, because I don't know how many times yesterday Tony Romo said, that was a big-time throw by Baker.
Yes.
That was a big-time throw. If we could just see a couple of them.
Yeah. Oh, he was dealing. He was dealing.
He was dealing.
Yeah.
And he was throwing with velocity and accuracy like I haven't seen before. Here's a deep ball. This is to that kid from Auburn.
Schwartz.
Yeah, Schwartz.
He can fly.
You know what? He can really fly, and he gives them a new dimension.
Yes.
This is Njoku.
Playing unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
But Skip, if you notice, everything is off play action because you get
late to Njoku. How sweet is that throw?
Yeah, everything is off play action because Skip, they run the ball because you got to earn it.
Yeah.
You got to.
Okay. All right, this kid, and yet there was another late one to Schwartz.
He dropped it.
And he dropped it, and he had it, and Thornhill came up. Thornhill played a great game.
He did.
I believe this is the one to Schwartz. Yeah, you got to catch that.
Yes.
That would have been, that would have maybe won the game. And Thornhill got hand in and dislodged it. But the kid's playing his first game.
Yes.
But he is a world-class sprinter.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, got to catch that one. And then finally, to the play of the game, unfortunately for Baker Mayfield, comes with 1:09 left. And as Romo said on CBS, he is trying to throw the ball away, and he does not see Sorensen coming. The safety's coming from behind him and gets him and trips him up. And as he's trying to throw it away, he falls forward and gets nothing on the ball. And you know the rest of the story. And you can't do it. No matter who's at fault, no matter what the circumstance is, you just have to eat it and fall on your face if that's what it requires. Because you had just done good things.
Right.
There was a 3rd and 2 just before that. He hit Peoples-Jones on a little slant and threw a little rocket to him for 4 yards.
Yes.
He converted, and then he hit a Kareem for 19 yards. And it looks like they're moving, and then that happened, and just the air went out of the game.
But you know it's over at that point.
Like when you least expect it, because he hadn't thrown any picks all day. He had little C fumbles all day, and then that happened. So, learning lesson for Browns. I still like them. I think they will get better and better. They got to get healthier. So do the Chiefs, obviously, because both were playing with some disadvantages. But I think they will see each other again in the postseason.
Well, that's a good start, boy.
No mercy. Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness, or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate Beer League softball team made up of gold and athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny, because these days we can all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts.
Oh, dang, that sucks. I'm sorry.
We can't wait to have it.
Aaron Rodgers and the Packers couldn't get anything going against a stingy Saints defense as they were held to 3 points. The reigning MVP was picked up twice and held 133 passing yards during New Orleans' 38-3 drubbing of Green Bay. It was the largest margin of defeat for a reigning MVP in a season opener, and also no team has ever lost its opener by 35 points or more and gone on to reach the Super Bowl.
Rodgers didn't shy away from the big loss, saying, quote, "We played bad. I played bad." Well, he's too honest about that. Shannon, how do you explain your guy Aaron's performance?
There's an offer without explanation. He played terrible. He admitted he played terrible. The team played terrible, Skip. I want to give Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator for the Saints, Skip. Now, you know he can down defense. He was the D coordinator when Tim Tebow was doing all those heroics in 2011. So he knows what he's doing from a defensive perspective.
Aaron spoke of him after the game and said he has high respect for him.
Yes. Skip back. I lost a boatload of money. There's no way I saw this coming, Skip. And what's embarrassing from a Green Bay Packer defensive perspective, Skip, you see stats like this in a college game when you invite Oklahoma.
Western Carolina.
Yeah. Okay, Skip, what we're going to do, this is your athletic budget, your football budget for the entire year. Come here, get your eyes beat out. Our quarterback don't pad it.
I was embarrassed for my students. They even scheduled poor Western Carolina.
Oh, the same
75 to nothing.
Or Georgia, Alabama.
Like, you could name it. It could be 150 to nothing.
Because, Skip, when you see someone throws the ball 20 times, they complete 14, and has 5 touchdowns, it's in one of those type of ball games. You don't expect to see that in an NFL game.
No.
5 touchdowns, sure, but you're expecting to see someone throw the ball 35, 40, 50 times. Jameis has less than 200 yards, threw the ball 20 times, and had 5 touchdowns, but Skip, they didn't come to play. I think the thing is they looked at, well, we're not going to be in the dome, New Orleans has been displaced for 2 weeks. Oh, we gonna waltz in there. We the reigning NFC. We went to the NFC the last 2 years NFC Championship game. We just gonna waltz in there. They don't have Drew Brees. It's gonna be a breeze. And got the brakes beat off. You better respect everyone. You underestimate no one, and then you should be okay. But the moment those are professionals. You can't think just because you won the MVP, you went to the NFC Championship game, team's gonna lay down.
Yeah.
The Saints saying, you know what, hey, I understand we lost Drew Brees, but they ain't losing nobody on the defense. They still get after you. And Jameis, Skip, if you really look at it, we be honest, Jameis can provide something for this offense that Drew hadn't been able to provide in a very, very long time. And we saw it that last touchdown when he threw the ball over the top.
55 yards.
And I said this last year when they were playing the Bucs. I said Jameis, with his ability to throw the ball over the top, he would probably give them a better opportunity because they just sitting on everything. They're like, you can't throw the ball over my head. Why are we playing anything other than 2-man? Let's make him put the ball in the tight windows. It's not going anywhere. This was unbelievable, Skip. I still don't believe 38-3. I mean, it wasn't even close. I mean, I can see, you losing a close ball game. Skip, everybody had to lose. Everybody wasn't going to win opening day. But 38-3, nobody saw this coming. Somebody lost their shirt on this one, Skip, because ain't nobody. They probably took Green Bay in the point. They took Green Bay in the cover, and Green Bay covered their heads. Because put flips in them.
Okay, I will give you this. Speaking also of Oklahoma and Oklahoma's first game against Tulane, Tulane was displaced. It's bouncing around Birmingham, and the game was supposed to be at Tulane, and finally it winds up in Norman.
Right.
And they didn't take it very seriously. They're up 37-14 at half, and in the second half, here came Tulane, and they had to hang on for dear life 40-35.
Yes.
So I'll give you, there was some of that going on. Also, I thought Sean Payton, who's got some genius about him, he does not. There's not one little rock left unturned on this. He's looking under every one because he chose Jacksonville because of the heat, and he also chose it because he goes on Expedia and finds out that the toughest place for the Green Bay fans to go, because they will go.
Yeah.
But the hardest place to get to is Jacksonville.
Right.
You got to change in Atlanta, wherever you're going to change.
Yeah, you probably go from Appleton to Chicago to Atlanta.
I don't know Atlanta. I guess so, but whatever. The point is, it was arguably the worst game of Aaron Rodgers' career. It was the worst beating he's ever taken in his career. 38-3. He was 0 of 7 on third down. That's incomprehensible to me. 0 of 7 on third down.
Yeah, that'll get you beat.
He had the single worst QBR of the entire week 1. This is the reigning MVP. A scale of 0 to 100 had a QBR of 13.5. The worst of all those kid quarterbacks, all the backs, and even the Tua and Zach and to Trevor Lawrence, this was the lowest.
Oh, he had that Chamberlain, huh? He had that Will Chamberlain, that 13.
He had number 13. He did. And the point was to me that they didn't show up because he didn't show up. And it was clear from the first snap of the game, he was not there. I don't know. He looked checked out to me. And the weird part about it is, even when I was watching our pregame show here on Fox,
Right.
and I'm watching the interview that Aaron Andrews did with him, I'm saying, what is he doing? What's his new image? Can we just see a flash of this?
Yeah, you know.
This is Aaron. He's got a man bun going. He's got his hair pulled back behind him. And I'm thinking, he looks like an aging, gray-bearded hippie folk singer to me. And then I look, and he's done a commercial for State Farm in which he is like an aging folk singer. I don't know if that's his new look, his new approach.
Kelly does that.
But everything is peace and love.
Yep.
And I'm just going to enjoy the ride. And they wanted to replace me. And how would you feel? And it's all, oh, woe am I. And I just had to make peace with it. And then yesterday, he looked semi-retired, like he wasn't as in. Last year, he was at least driven to say, okay, watch this.
Right.
I'm going to stick it to my own management by winning the MVP. And he didn't just win the MVP, he just ran away with the MVP.
He did.
Well, how do you go from running away
That's
with the
ridiculous.
MVP to that? Well, something psychologically, something emotionally was missing in the whole team. Now, he didn't have Bakhtiari, obviously his left tackle and his best friend on the team, rehabbing from his knee. Yeah, but I'm even looking at this stat. When he had at least 2.5 seconds or more to throw, he was only 4.15. It wasn't like they were rocking him. It wasn't like they were all over him.
They were covering his guys.
Yeah, they were just covering. And he acted like we got surprised by their two shells. So it's just like a cover two. It's two deep safeties. They're just playing back. They're not trying to force anything. They're not coming after it.
Right.
They're just sitting back in
Right.
coverage. Well, Aaron, you've been around for a while. You can't figure that one out on
Well,
the fly?
the thing is, if they don't respect the running game, normally when someone plays cover two, they're saying we can stop your run with our front seven. We don't need to drop that safety down to go one-on-one with your wide receivers. So what we're going to do, we saw this in the Super Bowl. Tampa played exclusively cover two. You can't run the football.
Yeah.
Cleveland played it yesterday against Kansas City. So, Skip, I used to tell TD all the time, a team playing us cover two, TD, run their ass out of this cover two, make them drop that safety down.
Okay, and speaking of that, if we could see the rushing yards here. New Orleans ran 39 times for 171 yards.
What Green Bay had?
Green Bay had 15 for 43.
No. Well, they gonna stand
Aaron
up.
Jones, who usually does damage, was 5 for 14. If he'd been playing Dallas yesterday, he would have